baby, she was in a nightgown. When I went to see my baby, she was on the ground. There was something in her voice, something I was sensing. There was something in her voice, something that was missing. Singing in her sleep and she was singing sadly. She was singing in her sleep and she was looking at me. There was nothing in her eyes as I sat beside her. There was nothing in her eyes, nothing that could hide her. recognized her. Then he opened up my heart and nothing could disguise her. She had sealed herself inside a body she could speak. She had sealed herself inside and nobody could see. Yeah. Love is just a little lamb looking for a hunk of ham. Love is just a little lamb looking for a hunk of ham. Love is just a little lamb looking for a home. Home, 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 home.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Randy, singer for the Residents. And this is Chuck over here on keyboards. Bob on guitar. Now, I'm sure all of our longtime fans out there remember that there were always four of us. Well, I'm sorry to say that Carlos has retired. After almost 40 years, Carlos decided that the rock and roll lifestyle was just not for him. So, Carlos went back to Mexico and he's taking care of his mom now. But we're with you, buddy. We're behind you. Carlos, you're the man. We miss him. We don't miss those really long drum solos, but it's okay. We love Carlos. All right, so now we wanted to invite all of you people into our little living room here so we can play a few songs for you and tell you a few stories. Now, some of these stories are a little bit spooky. So, get ready. Here's the first one right now. It's called The Talking Light.
Uh-oh, catch it. Uh-oh, catch it. Uh-oh.
Once, when I was a lonely teenager. 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 Once, when I was a lonely teenager.
Once when I was a lonely teenager. Once when I was a lonely teenager.
Once when I was a lonely teenager, I was out walking by myself and wandered into an unfamiliar area. The land was badly eroded, and as I looked up a small ravine, I saw a little cottage that appeared to be deserted. I noticed a weathered piece of paper stuck to the door and became curious as to what it said. large, shaky letters were the following words. If you find my baby inside, please bury him. Startled, I took the note off the door and continued to read.
Lost in a light, lost in a light, lost in a light, lost in a light, lost in a light. Searching forever.
I cannot stay here no more. Something has my baby in that house, and I can't get him back. There is some kind of light surrounding him. And every time I try to reach my hand in and grab my baby, it burns me. But it don't seem to be hurting him none. And there's a voice coming out of the light, and it says, "Find the ring, find the ring." Oh, I have looked all over that house. I ripped up the floorboards. I tore down the wallpaper, but I can't find no ring anywhere. And now, I am so tired. I am so tired. I don't know what to do except look for help, but I may not be able to make it back to my poor baby. Oh, dear God! I think somehow we wound up in hell! And I get the feeling somehow it's my baby's fault. But I don't know what he's done to deserve this.
except for a small area around the baby bassinet in the center of the room. The interior of the shack was total chaos. After working my way through the jumble of broken furniture, loose floorboards, and other rubble, I finally reached the side of the oddly spotless and pristine bassinet, covered by a clean white blanket. Filled with apprehension, I removed the cover, revealing the perfectly formed skeleton of a baby, clutching a wedding ring in its right hand.
Lost in a light, lost in a light, lost in a light.
After scratching a shallow hole in the dry dirt of the ravine, I was about to dump the pitiful basket of bones into it when I noticed some words engraved on the ring. Deeply disturbed but compelled to continue, I brought the ring closer to my eyes and made out the words. A mother's love erases rages. A mother's rage erases. But the rest was scratched out. Overwhelmed by feelings of fear, disgust, and confusion, I threw the ring and the baby skeleton into the hole. I quickly covered them with dirt and ran home. No one has ever believed my story. I've tried to convince myself that it must have been a dream induced by the instability of adolescence. I take comfort from that thought.
Lost in
6 more miles, long and sad. 6 more miles to the graveyard. Leave the best friend I ever had.
don't know about you, but I believe in ghosts. They've always been there. My whole life, the ghosts were under the beds and in the backs of the closets. There was this one guy. There was a guy named Red. I worked with him on a 12-story building. He was a construction worker. And one day, all of a sudden, beep, Red fell off the building. And I found his body, all rearranged in a weird kind of a way. And from that time on, any time I would go up somewhere really high, like the top of the Eiffel Tower, or maybe the Dubai Tower, Red would suddenly appear, and he would talk to me in this really sweet, soothing voice, and try to get me to jump. And then there was another time, there was this big, giant, glowing ball that just came down and landed right on top of my head when I was stuck in quicksand in Crossett, Arkansas. And inside of this big glowing ball were worms and snakes and bugs and the cut off head of a train conductor. It was really weird in there. But worst of all are the mirror people. The mirror people. I'll tell you more about them later.
Lifted up high to a hole in the sky, where God told me to dig. I found figures of
with a competent clerk, executing those who had abandoned the truth. Then 4 faces appeared around the sides of a sphere, spinning over a throne made of amber and bone. The ball was covered with eyes. As it started to rise, God commanded the clerk to take me back to the dirt. And the people screamed and shouted as the donut grew and sprouted. Little bitty dust balls made a fire. Down the lines and finally moved it, and the screams and unbelieving cries. For soon the ripples would be walking, and the dummies would be talking. But no one knew exactly how or why. The mirror people, the mirror people. I always knew they were there. I always knew the mirror people were there. But it was never really a problem until one day, not too long ago, I was in my bathroom shaving. And the room was all steamed up, and the mirror was all foggy. And all of a sudden, I heard this voice. I heard a voice, and it said, "Hi, Randy. Hi, Randy. I want you." I said, "Pardon me?" And I looked around, but no one was there. But I knew who it was. I knew who it was. Slowly, I walked up to that mirror and I wiped it away, and there he was, staring at me.
It's only been 2 weeks since Howard died, so I guess I should be destroyed, a miserable wretch, shattered and scattered like the shards of a discarded whiskey bottle hitting the pavement. But I'm not. I'm not, you see, because nothing could be worse than watching him die. Nothing could be worse than watching a life you loved slowly sucked away like a spider draining the brain of a fly. But then, he came back. Maybe it was only a dream, but he's been in every dream I've had since he died. And so what, I say? Who needs reality filled with grief when love lives in your dreams? In the past, dreams faded quickly, but since Howard died, they're like permanent movies living inside my mind. Every second of every dream is alive. It's mine, whenever I want it.
Dream, 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 dream.
The first night was like a lamp lit in the blindness of a black and empty room. The flame of the lamp grew brighter and brighter until the room disappeared, replaced by his face, shining like the center of the sun. Arms emerged from each cheek, opening wide in an obvious invitation to the space between his large and blood-red limbs. I freely fell into the opening and, once inside, easily embraced his heart. It was stuck to the top of his torso, where the nape of his neck might have been, and then it licked me with love and with laughter and made my mind twinkle and grin. The dream flowed on in its own loose and liquid way, filling my mind with a warmly glowing wetness that always equaled the essence of Howard. Rachel, my best friend, was waking me for Howard's funeral. I had slept for 18 hours. The heaviness of grief saturating the service was more than I could bear. But I had to bear it. It didn't matter how many times I broke down or how many condolences left the lips of family and friends. It never got any better. But somehow it managed to get worse. Just as the service was ending, I tripped at the edge of the dirt pile waiting to fill Howard's hole. And as I tripped, I bumped into Howard's mother, causing both of us to fall into the open grave, giving the grieving woman a perfect release for the venom and rage consuming her soul. As my friends and family looked on, my dead husband's mother hit me 14 times with her purse before I fainted into the waiting arms of my beloved.
Whenever I want you, whenever I want you, whenever I want you, I want you, I want you, I want you.
My life continued on like that for the next 2 weeks as I slept a little longer and dreamed a little more each day. I made it 23 and a half hours yesterday, and now, with Howard's support, I think I'm ready. The doctors say it's medically impossible for a healthy person to sleep 24 hours a day, but Howard and I don't think so, and that's all that really matters.
Dream, 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 dream. said little Ted was dead. I read in a letter today. The same for Monica's monkey, she said. Quietly it passed away. His eyes were black and his beak was brown. Mr. Cuckoo has fallen asleep, and soon his home will be underground. Mr. Cuckoo has fallen asleep. The sky was dark as a hopeless heart when I went to my window today. The wind was cold and the world was old when I went to my window today.
Once I went to grammar school, then I went to bed. First my friend was with me, then my friend was dead. All his clothes were burned up, and his pants were ripped. Well, after all we've been through, what more can we say?
people have their rules. And one of their rules is that if you walk right up and you look straight in the mirror, they never talk. They never talk. And if somebody else is in the room with you, they never talk. But they're there. They're there. They're there. They want you. They want to become you. My wife is one. My wife, Bonnie, she's one. That's why I sleep in the garage now. Once, when I was a kid, I went into a barber shop. I guess you can tell. I don't go in those places anymore. But I went in that barber shop and I sat down in that great big chair and I looked around and I saw all of those mirrors and I just jumped. And it made the barber stab himself in the cheek with his scissors. After that, my mom always cut my hair.
Next time you're stuck with the nastiest job in the house, make it vanish.
Unseen sister objects. The unseen sister protects. The unseen sister expected nothing from life. And so she asked from side.
When I was very young, I had a twin sister that no one could see but me. We lived in a farm without any neighbors, so she was my constant companion. But for some reason, she liked to play tricks on my mother. These tricks were often mean, and even though I didn't, I usually got the blame, I was unable to stop myself from acting.
The unseen sister objects. The unseen sister protects. The unseen sister objects. The unseen sister protects. The unseen sister protects. The unseen sister protects. The unseen sister protects. The unseen sister protects.
Once, we were playing under the kitchen table where my mother was sitting shelling peas. I grabbed her leg and said I wanted to play horsey as my sister placed a loop of clothesline around her ankle. Mother said no, and then she got up from the table, walked 2 steps, and tripped as she reached the end of the rope. As my mother fell, she knocked a boiling pot off the stove. It fell on her head. Even though it was July, she was cooking pasta in the shape of little green Christmas trees because it was my favorite. Mother's face was no more than 6 inches from mine as she screamed, jerked away the pot, and revealed her red bubbling face covered with little green Christmas trees. Mother was dead when I woke up. 7 years later, my father said that she had become tangled in the cord of a toaster and electrocuted herself as she stumbled around the room screaming in pain. I have a goldfish that died one time too.
unseen sister protects. The unseen sister expected nothing from life, and so she asked from side. The mirror people, the mirror people.
Okay, all right, I know. This mirror people stuff, it sounds pretty weird. You probably think I'm crazy. All right, okay. I'm gonna show you. Wait, right here, wait. It's a mirror. Mirror on the front. Mirror on the back. Okay. All right. Now, you people way up there in the tippity top, you're probably okay. But you guys down here, maybe toast, I don't know. All right, but I'm gonna look right in. I'm in the line of fire here. So, get ready. Hi. I'm Randy, singer for The Residents. And this is Chuck on keyboards. Bob on guitar. Fuck Carlos. What's with that guy? I mean, he could be up here right now. Guy was an asshole. Okay, all right, so now we have a few more songs for you. This next one is about a dear, sweet little old lady.
do it, who will take care of my plans? Maybe Martha. She sent a card on Mother's Day, and she has a philodendron and 3 ferns. They look terrible, though. Just like her house, she never dusts her leaves. What about Berta? She's been married 3 times. How could she possibly take care of orchids? If I do it, how long will it be before they notice? Weeks, months. And all that time, my poor orchids being eaten by those aphids. I know why they ignore me. It was a long time ago, but they still hold it against me. He was old. And he could barely hop around. Poor thing. Somebody had to do it. Somebody had to.
teeth in my bite. Like dice rolling snake eyes and headlights at night. Like a corpse in the sunshine or eyes in a fight. There's a spot. There's a spot. There's a spot on my glove. No. Maybe it was make 'em runny, honey. Doilies. Where all the doilies go? Roses will wither and die, along with the lace and the lies. Nothing is nicer than death, and matching the bed and the best. He hated me. He hated me. And hate is hot. Hate is black. I'll not even have to stain for him. Not even a stain on the river he looked up to. Lacking all respect for him, I'm blacking out the specks of decent thoughts that linger in me. Leaving only white. Calm, peaceful, white swans. Silently flying through the storm, looking down at the bleached bones of a noble knight who died trying to save his lady, his lovely lady. She wanted to bring her man milk in the moonlight, but it was too late. It was too late. He said,
lone prairie. These words came slowly and mournfully from the bleeding lips of a youth who lay on his dying bed at the close of day. Darkness hovered above his head as the shadows of death grew thick like lead. He thought of his home and his family that night as the cowboys gathered to watch him die. Bury me now on the lone prairie where the wild coyotes howl over me in a narrow grave just 6x3. Oh, bury me now on the lone prairie. and his voice stopped there. But we took no heed of his dying prayer. In a narrow grave, just 6x3, we buried him there on the lone